Now at 6.
There are just bodies and the screams. You can't think about, unhear that.
Heartbreak and questions after a Houston man plows into the New Year's crowd on Bourbon Street.
I need EMS at Canal and Bourbon now.
I got at least maybe 12 to 15 people hit by this vehicle.
Tonight, we're learning more about who did this and his connections to Texas.
To find out, yesterday that he was behind all this I was floored.
Our teams are live, tracking the latest developments from New Orleans and Houston.
KHOU 11 News at 6 starts right now. And up first this evening, Bourbon Street. It is back open just a day after the FBI says a Houston man rammed a pickup truck into revelers on Bourbon Street, killing 14 people. This is a live look at the evening scene on the left-hand side of your screen, courtesy of EarthCam. Also tonight, on the right side, security is tight at the Superdome where the Sugar Bowl is happening now and in its fourth and final quarter after being postponed a day because of the attack. Good evening to you. I'm Mia Gradney.
And I'm Trayson Bragg. While tourists and locals are once again out and about, the French Quarter is now guarded with fresh barricades and 14 roses to mark the 14 people tragically killed in the terror attack.
We have learned a lot of new information on this story today. Authorities say 42-year-old Shamsud-Din Jabbar drove to New Orleans from Houston on New Year's Eve. Then early on New Year's Day, he planted 2 coolers with homemade bombs at major intersections in the French Quarter. These brand new surveillance images show him on foot in the French Quarter at around 2 a.m. that morning. Then the FBI says about an hour later at 3:15 a.m. he drove into that crowd on a packed Bourbon Street, killing 14 people and wounding at least 30 before he was killed in a shootout with police. We have team coverage for you tonight covering the ongoing investigation in New Orleans and here in Houston. We start though with Matt Doherty. He is live in the French Quarter tonight. Matt, what is the energy like there?
Well, first, I want to show you some of these security measures that are being taken tonight. Now, if you look over here, this is Canal Street. We're at the intersection of Canal and Bourbon Street, where Bourbon Street begins. And Ryan, if you just pan the camera just a little bit this way, you can see a tank is set up over here with some of those military officers on top with rifles. And then if you spin around a little bit more, you can see some of the other vehicles that they've parked here to create kind of this makeshift barricade that you see over here. And Ryan, if you just follow me a little bit, we're going to walk through the crowd if we can. And I'm going to show you what's been set up here. You can see there's some officers here standing. So right here, this is the new concrete barrier that's been set up so that if any car could possibly get through all of those officers and all of those vehicles, they can't possibly drive past this and get down Bourbon Street, where you see lots of people are coming tonight as things start to get back to normal. Slowly, New Orleans is returning to normal. Café du Monde was once again filled with visitors enjoying beignets and coffee. In the French Quarter, sunshine lights the path along Bourbon Street, and the visitors come back.
All hell broke loose.
Scott Chaneville lives only a few blocks from where the attack happened. He, like everyone else, can't make sense of it.
The city's been built, the state's been built on a mixture of tragedy and revelation and happiness. I mean, the two go kind of hand in hand.
Scott and the others we met with on Bourbon Street say reopening the French Quarter was necessary. They say too many workers depend on the income it brings for it to stay closed any longer. The 14 people who were killed here yesterday morning in an act of terror are now memorialized by yellow roses at the place where 42-year-old Shamsud-Din Jabbar began his attack on New Year's Day. At the Superdome, security was tight ahead of the Sugar Bowl. Law enforcement vehicles and officers blocked traffic from getting anywhere close to the venue as Notre Dame and Georgia fans poured into the stadium. One day later, people are taking their first steps toward dancing again. Not necessarily because they want to, but because they say they have to. Now what you're looking at right now are some new wooden crosses that have been put here at the memorial site. This happened within the last hour or so. This is the corner that Jabbar turned when he got onto Bourbon Street and killed those 14 people. Guys, back to you.
A sobering and sad visual there. Matt Doherty in New Orleans in the French Quarter tonight. Thank you.
Tonight, those who knew suspect Shamsud-Din Jabbar say they're shocked and angry about the Bourbon Street attack. That includes old Army friend Trevor Neal, who first met Jabbar, nicknamed Sham, at the former Fort Gordon in Georgia, where he was known as a smart, dedicated soldier. Neal says he can't imagine how or why Jabbar's life suddenly took a wrong turn, but he's among those closely following the latest developments in this investigation.
And it's very unfortunate that he took that path. But, you know, I can only speak for the 2011 version of Sham, which was, you know, he's a normal individual, no red flags, great soldier, phenomenal friend.
We've also heard from friends in Jabbar's native Beaumont, where former classmates and others say the alleged actions don't match up to the man they thought they knew.
The FBI says the Bourbon Street attacker was, quote, 100% inspired by ISIS. But how did Jabbar go from homegrown Texan to radicalized terrorist? Investigative reporter Jeremy Rogowski spent the day digging into his background and continues our team coverage now. Jeremy.
Well, Mia, Louisiana Governor Jeff Landry says getting answers to questions like that is like trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle with 1,000 pieces.
You've got to start sifting through those pieces.
That's the task ahead as investigators unravel the life of Shamsud-Din Jabbar, from the terror on Bourbon Street to his childhood in Beaumont.
I'm just shocked.
Where a high school classmate remembered him as well-spoken and smart.
I mean, you just wouldn't think that he would do something like this.
This is not how we knew Shamsud-Din.
A friend of the family, also floored by the news.
I'd love to get my hands on whoever influenced him.
After high school, records show Jabbar married and divorced 3 times, had at least 3 children, and served in the Army from 2007 to 2020. Leaving as a staff sergeant.
I'm Shamsud-Din Jabbar, property manager with Blue Metal Properties.
The same year, Jabbar posted this YouTube video about a real estate career in Houston, a business he later reported a $28,000 loss, along with past due house payments of $27,000 he listed in divorce proceedings. In 2022, his wife accused Jabbar of excessive cash withdrawals, gifts to paramours, and unreasonable spending. Months later, records show he was evicted from an apartment in Cyprus.
We are looking in everything in his life.
The FBI executed a search warrant at Jabbar's latest home in North Harris County. Investigators have not yet reported what they found inside or whether any of those pieces will help solve the puzzle of how this native Texan and Army veteran pledged allegiance to the Islamic State.
That's the stuff in the coming days as far as that path to radicalization that we're really going to be digging into and making a priority.
Now, the FBI did say that Jabbar claimed he joined ISIS before last summer, saying so in one of 5 Facebook videos investigators say he posted while driving from Texas to New Orleans New Year's Eve night. Mia and Tracy.
With the background, Jeremy Rogowski, thank you. The attack is now prompting security officials to review their own safety plans in cities like Houston.
That's because this isn't the first time that we've seen this sort of attack. Victor Acobo joins us live from West Houston. Victor, you covered a similar tragedy in Wisconsin in 2021 when a man plowed through a crowd with an SUV.
Yeah, Tracy, that's right. The tragedy in Waukesha was one of the most difficult incidents I've had to cover in my career. While it was not a terrorist attack, it still had, like you said, similar traits in that a driver drove through a crowd through what was supposed to be a celebration, killing 6, leaving dozens more injured and leaving deep trauma in that community. It prompted the city of Waukesha to look at ways at bolstering security for future parades and future large gatherings. Security experts I spoke with today say they've also seen similar events to what happened in Bourbon Street in cities across Europe. Now they say officials in cities like Houston will be examining what's happened in New Orleans to find ways to prevent such incidents from happening in the future.
But we're ready to continue to host large-scale events in our city because we are built to host at every single turn.
The mayor of New Orleans saying her city is ready to move forward with major events after the New Year's Bourbon Street attack. The city of Houston is no stranger to preparing for such events.
We have task forces, of which HPD, DPS, Harris County, all of the law enforcement, we all work seamlessly together on those counterterrorism efforts. It has to be done that way in order to be successful.
James Conway is a global counterterrorism expert, a former FBI agent, and now with a Houston-based security consulting firm.
And the planning and the preparation for those events starts taking place about a year ahead of time. And basically, a lot of the templates are put in place in terms of what kind of security do we need, who's going to be responsible for what.
Conway says law enforcement also gathers intelligence to determine threat levels for major events. But he says soft targets like Bourbon Street and nightlife spots in Houston cannot always be hardened and may require the public to take their own steps to stay safe.
Is the word I use in the business is situational awareness. You know what? Put this thing away, take your face out of it, and pay attention to what's going on. You know, you're going to an event, a game or something, put your head on a swivel and pay attention to what's going on around you.
Conway also says the growing use of apps like Turo, which was the car renting app used by the attacker in New Orleans, may make it more difficult for law enforcement to track bad actors because sometimes it's less use of protocols often used by more established companies. Reporting live in Houston, Victor Jacobo, KHOU 11 News.
Interesting observation there. Victor Jacobo tonight, thank you.
As this investigation continues to evolve, we will bring you the very latest. Right now, we have more about the suspect as well as the victims of this horrific attack on our website, khou.com.